everyone. Today I'm here to set up my Sterling Ink N2 Horizontal Compact 2026 Common Planner. I am using this planner as a meal planner, a health and wellness tracker, and also a household planner for food, health, and home. The main component of this planner is the meal planning, which I'm going to be doing in the weekly section, and which you can see a current example of how I'm sort of using this right now. This part is very functional and very messy. It needs to work, but it doesn't need to look pretty. I have my current 2025 Common Planner, which I can show you a little bit, starting with the very beginning. This sticker is from Unicorn Eclipse. These are also from Unicorn Eclipse, and here I have a key for how I'm using different spreads in this 2025 planner. This sticky note is also from Unicorn Eclipse. Let me just pull out my box of assorted Post-it notes and notepads. Here we go. Here's a good food-themed one. This is another one from Unicorn Eclipse from their Cafe Quest line. So let's write down the key for how I'm going to be using my 2026 planner. So this is a list of the various spreads that are available in this planner. First, there is this yearly calendar. There is a blank spread. There is a goal breakdown spread, a yearly tracker, quarterly spreads, monthly calendars, and weekly spreads, which includes one left side with the days and then one blank on the side. And in the back are totally blank pages that I can lay out however I want. So that is what is included in the planner, and now I have to go through and decide what I'm going to assign to which part of it. Now, starting with what's already been working really well for me in this planner, which is mostly the functional meal planning. So for my week, I'm going to put weekly menu, because this is where I like to have a visual overview of what meals we've assigned to particular days. And the side page, the right-hand side of the weeks, I'm going to use for functional meal planning. To me, that means messy, and it just is whatever I need it to be. Sometimes this means we're writing down ideas. Sometimes we're writing down cravings. Sometimes reminders of leftovers. It's pretty common for us to start our weekly meal planning by writing down what we already have in the house, ingredients that we need to use up, leftovers that we have, ideas for things we want to eat, and sort of generating some ideas based off of this, based off of ingredients we already have, produce that we need to use up before it goes bad, and cravings that we're having that week. So eventually, if this becomes more of a routine, I might end up creating sections for this page where I can pre-fill. But for now, it's very freeform, and every week it kind of looks a little different. And that's okay. Now, the other thing I really like from this planner is how we use this goal breakdown spread to keep track of new recipes that we tried this year for the first time. So there are 48 boxes to fill, which is very close to 50 recipes a year or almost one new recipe every week. And this is probably the best year we've ever had for new recipes and trying out new things that we really like that have now entered our rotation. So it's actually really satisfying because there's a bunch of things on this list that we've tried once and forget about or would forget about, except that I wrote it down, so we're going to go back and revisit it. So I like this spread and I want to keep this spread for the goal breakdowns. I'm going to continue with tracking 48 new recipes in 2026. Now, I changed things up a lot for the quarterly spread. I was experimenting with some different things this year. At first, I was putting new recipes that we tried in these spots, but I was also sometimes adding significant recipes. Like if it was just a really good meal that I wanted to remember, I also wrote it down. But this is also where I was working through my Wheel of the Year, which is my calendar of seasonal things, of holidays, of significant dates, important events, anniversaries, memorial days. And a large aspect of sort of charting the overall structure of the year is thinking about how that relates to food, thinking about holiday menus, thinking about feast days, thinking about candy holidays, thinking about times of the year when I want to bake something in particular, when I want to eat something in particular. I do have a video on my Wheel of the Year where I talk a little bit about some of these seasonal associations. But basically every year and every season, I'm kind of taking stock of what's coming up. So here in January through March, I was noting that citrus is in season and that there's a lot of great things I really like to eat that use citrus, like citron tea, lemon curd, marmalade, lemon bars, lemon cakes, and fresh grapefruit, which are all things that I associate with this time of year. This is also the time of year when we have Valentine's Day, and so there are things that I like to make or would like to make more frequently. I would like to be making more homemade candy around these kinds of candy holidays. And so this is a reminder to myself that this is a priority for me. In April, May, and June, I'm turning my attention to the spring season, to fruits that are now in season, such as pineapple, cherry, strawberry, cantaloupe, and mango. I'm thinking about Easter candy. I'm thinking about birthday cake because my birthday does fall in this time. So some of the things that I think of a lot at this time of year include pineapple coconut drinks or desserts like pina colada. I think about cherry cobbler or cherry turnover. I think about fruit sandos, like Japanese sandwiches with strawberries and cream. I think about strawberry angel food cake. I think about Maui burgers, like pineapple on burgers, or stir fry that has pineapple in it, and pineapple fried rice. So this is a reminder to myself that these are foods I like to eat at this time of year, and it reminds me to put these foods on our meal plan menus more often during this season. July, August, and September is associated with special events like barbecue and grilling for the 4th of July, cold desserts for summer, fruit salad, salsa and guacamole, key lime pie, a lot of cold foods, as well as additional fruits that are in season, like apricot, blueberry, peach, watermelon, nectarine, and lime or key lime. I love a good key lime pie. So in the summer, I'm thinking about panna cotta smoothies, baked goods with blueberries in it, ice cream, mango lassi, peach cobbler, watermelon drinks and slushies, and also coconut rice with mango. And finally, in October, November, and December, I'm thinking about these seasonal fruits like raspberry, plum, honeydew, grape, pomegranate, and cranberry. I'm thinking more about feast days and desserts. I'm thinking about Thanksgiving in November and Christmas in December. I'm also thinking about foods that I associate with cold temperatures. I'm thinking about soups and stews. I'm thinking about spiced foods. I'm thinking about pumpkin cookies and cranberry bread. I'm thinking about holiday cookies and baking for this time of the year. And also, we have the sugar holiday of Halloween as well. So it's good to think about that if I'm in a candy making mood. And the winter is also a good time to make candy in general. I really want to get better at making things like homemade fudge. And winter is a really excellent time to do that just because the temperature really helps the process. So, taking inspiration from that and thinking about how I can go a little bit deeper with it is something that I'm thinking about a lot for my quarterly spread. I'm going to continue using my quarterly spread as my holiday calendar, my sugar calendar, my wheel of the year. Now, for the months, in this year's planner, I did use the months for a bit of an exercise tracker, and I wasn't super consistent with it, but I did track my step count. I tracked physical therapy when I had physical therapy appointments. You can see I used the colors to indicate when I had a low day, when I had sort of an average day, when I had a pretty darn good day, and then when I had a really good day. I had this range here. I made a little graph on the side. And that was pretty fun, but I ended up getting sort of overstimulated by the watch that I was wearing, and I stopped wearing it, and I haven't been doing very well at tracking my steps ever since. But I was trying to track things like yoga, things like cardio, when I went for a walk. And when I first set up this planner, it was pretty much just me using it. But actually, my partner has gotten a lot more invested in this system too, and we're using it a lot more together. So we decided, I was talking to him about it this morning, and we decided there's only two things we want to track, morning exercise and an evening exercise. We're trying to be really consistent with doing a short, like 3-minute calisthenics workout in the morning. We're using Radio Taiso. And then before bed, we're trying to do like a 5-minute yoga routine. But only having to track two things, a morning exercise and an evening exercise, means that we can use this spread really easily using like a slash mark if we do one exercise and then Xing out the day when we do both exercises. So hopefully we can sort of go for a tracker, an unbroken spread of X's, and just see how much we end up doing at the end of the year. We're both old enough to decide that we really need to be actually consistent about doing daily exercise. You know, it's time. It's time to just grit our teeth. So for these monthly trackers, we're going to use an exercise tracker, but it's going to be a simple one. So the last major component of this is something that I haven't used in this planner yet this year, and I'm going to start for the first time. And if you were ever following along with my pocket bullet journal, then you might remember some of these resets. I developed these reset routines, these quarterly checklists, which includes a lot of deep cleaning chores as well as some administrative things. This is also where I was storing information about stuff that's in season and food associations. I'm making these seasonal dashboards where I talk about activities, media, and food that I want to engage in for this season. But these quarterly resets are a lot of house chores that I want to be doing on a cycle. And the monthly ones are the same. I have an administrative side and then I have a household side. So this year I really built out these routines in a big way. This is like the first year that I was seriously focusing on this. And keeping it up in the bullet journal got to be a little bit too much. I have moved away from using this as a bullet journal and now I'm sort of using it as a task manager. But I needed a place to store these reset checklists. And of course, I wanted it to be a place where both of us could access it so we could both know what needed to be done. So I decided to move those reset checklists into the blank back pages of here instead. So that's a spread that I can set up before the year even starts and then have that ready to go. So for the blanks, we're going to do quarterly and monthly resets. And the blank pages will also be another additional functional planning space, particularly for like holiday menus. Every quarter we'll go through and take inventory of what we have in our kitchen, what we have in our fridge, freezer, and pantry. So a quarterly inventory space. And then a general list of meal ideas. There are a few places where I brainstormed in here, but I also just like having some reference lists. Like, I made this at the very beginning of the year, and I've been adding to it as we make new things, but these are sort of staple meals that are in our regular menu rotation, as well as some sides. And having something like this, I do have a menu, like a flip through book of options that we'll sometimes use to remind me of what we like to eat so we can meal plan more effectively. But just having it written out like this is also really useful, and we can just pick things off of this list when we're a little stuck, or if we have a specific protein in the freezer we don't know how to use, we can kind of catalog it here and decide what we want to do with it. Here's a list I was working on of ideas for snacks and things I could take to work with me. Trying to think more about things I'd be willing to eat for breakfast. Sort of experimenting with planning in a bunch of different ways. Making grocery lists. So this really can turn into just a general all-purpose planning catch-all zone. So there are still a couple of blank spots, and I'm gonna leave that open for now in case I get any brilliant ideas before the year starts, but I have enough that I can at least set up my planner and start filling in some of this information now so it's all ready to go for the new year. So that's what I'm gonna do next. And first I'm gonna just rewrite this. I've got a little bit more room. And it's a little more legible. And I will put the key in this front cover. And then I went and found my collection of die cut and vinyl stickers, and I'm gonna go through this and pull out any food related ones that I might want to use to decorate this. I think I've definitely got some from Unicorn Eclipse, and yeah, like this ice cream truck. So let's see what else I've got in here. Let me pull them all out and I will show you what I find. A little ducky with bread and an egg on his head. A cat looking like a loaf of bread. Not really feeling this one, I'll set that aside. Here we have a cute little ice cream sundae. This is from Sticky Club. There's the artist's info. Oh, this is kind of perfect. This one is from Unicorn Eclipse. Bread. This is a nice autumnal vibe. That is food related, so I'll set that aside. Oh, this one's very cute. I do love this. Here we have a couple of little charcuterie boards. These are very cute. I believe these are from Hoyoko. A little honey pot. I'll save those. Oh, the blueberries are very cute. I love this sticker so much that I can't bring myself to use it, but I also have it in a magnet, so eventually I just have to make myself use it. Ayy. This is another Unicorn Eclipse sticker. Super cute. Here's the ice cream truck. Bunch of old Passion Planner stickers. Just looking for food stickers. Life SMP fans, where are you at? This is like water, I think, but it looks like a cute drink, so I'll put it in. This is just one of these reminders that I hoard stickers too much and I need to just let myself use them. This is not a sticker, but it is very cute. I could potentially stick it to something. Here we have a candy apple and also a little honey bear. This is very cute, so that's a possibility. And that's all. Those are all of my... I've now completely emptied this. Let me put this all back. It's amazing how many stickers can fit in one of these little acrylic things. Okay, so here's what I've pulled out. This is very cute. It doesn't really match the vibes of the rest of it, but it's related. Got a honey bear. We've got a candy apple, which is very seasonal, so maybe I could put this on one of my quarterly... maybe I could include this with my little Wheel of the Year sugar calendar. It is very cute, but it is a little bit bulky. It's got this water. We've got this ice cream truck, which might be a little big. Got this. Got these blueberries. I love the blueberries. I do really like the charcuterie boards. They are not as thick, so they're a little easier to use here. Oh, I could put this honey with the honey bear. I love the strawberry milk. I want to use this for sure. I think the strawberry milk and the blueberries are the things that are exciting me the most. This is also a good seasonal one, so I'll put that aside. The bread is sort of iconic. I'm not really a big bread eater. My partner eats a lot of bread. Like, my partner would eat toast for every meal if he could, and I thought I was gluten intolerant for a very long time. Turns out I just am sort of carb intolerant in general. So, you know, I'm not a big bread eater, but it is very cute, so that's a maybe. This little ducky is very cute, but very silly. Not entirely sure it matches the vibe exactly, but it could complement some of these things. And then I also really like this a lot. I think what I'm leaning towards most out of all of these are the blueberry, the ice cream sundae, the strawberry milk, the bear, the honey, and the charcuterie. I really do like to keep the covers kind of pristine. Mostly just because I like to touch them and I don't want any textures kind of interfering with that. But what I did in last year's was putting them just inside the front covers. So I had this cute ramen. I had this cute lemonade and this cute lemonade to go with my lemon sticky note. And in the end, I put in these macaron cookies. So it feels like just enough color that it pops when I open it, and it makes me happy to see it, but it's not getting in my way. So I think I'm gonna do something similar here. I will come back when I have it all set up and show you what I decided. Okay, I've made a decision about what I'm gonna put where with the stickers. I'm going to keep the key on the post-it note on the inside front cover. I'm going to put the strawberry milk down here in the corner. I'm going to put the honey bear here and the little honey jar here. And then I'm going to put the blueberry on the back cover, right in the middle. So there were a few things I didn't really have space for, couldn't figure out how to include, so I'll just save these, set them aside, and maybe use them on other pages or even other spreads. And the stickers are in. We've got our strawberry milk. We've got our honey. And we've got our blueberry. So what I'm copying is my old dinner reference list straight into the same planner because it worked out so well last time. Sort of separating out proteins and then listing some of our go-to dinner options as well as like vegetables and sides. So we can kind of mix and match from various columns, pick a protein based on what we have in the freezer, and build a weekly menu from there. So what I'm doing here is whiting out some of the text on this page so that I can set it up with some washi tape. This is the spread I'm going to use to keep track of new recipes that we try for the very first time. Because there are 48 boxes, it's sort of like giving us a goal to try one new recipe almost every week of the year. And here's my completed flip through. The cute strawberry theme coming from Unicorn Eclipse. I have my reference key and some stickers. More stickers. This spread is ready for me to start logging new recipes. I will be setting this up as part of my quarterly reset. My partner and I will be tracking our exercise when the year begins using these spreads. We'll be using these pages for meal planning. And in the blank pages, I have some spreads ready to start the year. Some reference pages for dinners and menu items. I've started populating these master lists for recipes I want to try making, and recipes I already know how to make but I'd like to master or have my go-to favorite special recipe for. I added some stickers and filled in some of these as well, brainstorming ideas for snacks I can take to work with me, and some of my go-to drinks when I'm at home working at my desk. I started setting up my sugar calendar as well and created a basic template for us to fill in ideas for holiday menus. Then I added these spreads for a quarterly reset for quarter one and 3 monthly resets, one for January, one for February, and one for March. So we have all the checklists we need for the first quarter of the year to maintain the household. One thing we like to do for the house along with our quarterly reset is take inventory of what we have in the kitchen, in the pantry, fridge, and freezer. So I also created a spread for us to log things when we do that as part of our quarterly reset. And then we have the blueberries on the inside back cover. So there are a few things I'm going to do for the quarterly reset when I set up for the new year, but otherwise this is all ready to go, and I'm excited to move into this planner for food, health, and home. I have other videos in this series coming out as well as I set up my planners for 2026. My Sterling Ink Common Planner as a journaling and tracker and memory keeper. My food, health, and home planner in the Sterling Ink N2 horizontal format. I'm redating an old passion planner for my weekly planner this year. And I'm using this Paper Blanks Page a Day planner as a task capture inbox. So you can find all of those along with a bunch of other planning for 2026 videos on my channel in this playlist. So I hope you check it out if you're interested. Feel free to subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.